The scene is set within the Odyssey Theatre, within John Stanhope's office, within the casino itself, just prior to John's various meetings this evening, including his clan meeting. He has called his Nosferatu contact and uh, sponsor, sponsee, to a brief meeting. He waits for the presence of Cole Voltaire.
You wait, and within sort of 10 or 15 minutes of the call, there's a polite knock on the door. As one of the casino or theatre people has brought Carl to the office. And again, dressed in his normal, unassuming suits, type of person that would be looked over in most crowds. Carl walks in, smiles, and gives a bow.
John returns the act that has become a familiar greeting between the two of them with a respectful nod. Mr. Voltaire, please, come in, my friend. How do you keep these nights?
Well, plans are proceeding as I would like.
I see. Many gears in the works.
I suppose I should let you know of something of some import. We have the Nosferatu have decided on a new leader, a new Privileger.
Yes, I believe one of your kind, Mr. Poddy, informed me that that might be taking place. Who is the new Primogen?
Well, we selected dear Mr. Poddy.
What do you make of the man? I haven't really had a chance to converse much with him.
I think he is of the right age. I think he is ruthless enough and smart enough and tactful enough. Something that may have been lacking in our previous incumbent.
Perhaps you have the right of it there, Mr. Voltaire, but she was refreshing on the Primogen table, I can tell you that. Not enough of us are bluntly spoken.
How did anyone else get a word in edgeways?
Well, it is of similar design in which I have called you here today. As I'm sure you're aware, our dear Prince, Mr. Eudocia, has abdicated his throne.
Yes, so how do we make you prince?
I beg your pardon?
So how do we make you the prince?
Ah, this is exactly the reason I have called you here. It is my intention to claim my candidacy. I am meeting with Cole uh, in the hour to declare as such. I believe that, well, I hope with some honest talk, Mr. Cole will see the sense in my candidacy rather than resist it. But as such, I would like to foster good relations with the clans that have always been essential to this city's betterment. Hence I have called you. I know few Nosferatu in the city at the moment, and I was wondering if what Clan Nosferatu's take on the princedom would be.
I cannot speak for my clan, and I will not. But I have recently made a Primogen. I suppose the next logical step would be to see if I can do something a bit more impressive. You sponsored me. I will help you and reap the rewards. that are useful to me and my clan.
Sorry, you'll have to speak up. The
Ah,
damn fruit machines are blocking your volume.
I said, I will support you. I will help you, and I think I can make you prince, depending what other support you have.
I'm interested to hear your ideas, Mr. Voltaire.
How long have I been in town?
A few months now, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes. And within the first hours of meeting our Primogen, I decided she was not fit for the role. So I then decided who would be fit for the role.
And place that person in the position of power.
Yes. They think it's their idea, but I kind of prefer it that way most of the time.
It is always better that way. Having people believe in a cause that they fought up means they fight that much harder for it.
Do you want to know how to get Cole to not run for prince?
John's eyes light up at that, but he tries to keep his eagerness in check. Do tell.
He's Gangrel. He's a Gangrel's Gangrel. He is about the most Gangrel I have had the pleasure of meeting. He is the type of kindred that would make a fine hunter, tracker, war leader, pack runner. Does he really enjoy politics, paperwork, logistics?
You and I think very similarly. This is exactly the reason I am going to meet him. To suggest a new place for him within the city, one where he can still contribute without the tedium of the Seneschal's position.
I would even think about trying to, rather than dissuade him from the Seneschal's position or the Prince's position, load up as much work on him as you can. The more tedious, the more time consuming, the better. And then you come in and help him and show him how easy it is for a kindred that is accustomed to such things to deal with them, and then ask his advice about how you deal with the Sabbat and the violence and the problems that really are not within your sway or purview of understanding.
Fine ideas. And was an advice I will take to heart, Mr. Voltaire.
Would probably even get him to suggest you should be prince by such a tactic. And you could complain that surely not, I am too young, what would I do? And it would make him only suggest the more stronger. If Cole supports you, you become prince.
As quaint as that idea is, Mr. Voltaire, I think it would be a long day in hell before Cole suggests for myself to be prince. We are not on friendly terms.
Then that needs to be changed. What's the cause of the contention?
Well, his inability to rule, I suppose.
No. What is the cause of the contention? Why does he dislike you? Have you directly pointed out his inability to rule? Have you undermined his position in public?
In his own words, he called me a pompous ass. It is ancient history. We have, let's just say, crossed each other a couple of times on the political scene, and it has turned to a little bit of enmity. Something I hope to bury the hatchet later this evening. But enough of Cole. That is a problem I will deal with. What I wish to know is, what do the Nosferatu wish to accomplish within this city, and how I can help this.
Simply, I want to expand the number of my clan in town. I want us to go back to doing what we always should have been doing, which is controlling the flow of information between the clans. That's our value. The fact that as a clan we seem to have been fractured rather than family. And I seek to change that situation. It's what makes us valuable. That and the fact that you need scourges.
Oh, yes.
And we are the best clan for that.
Do you believe there are other positions that your clanmates would be suited for?
I think that a membership of the Privileging Council, if we can find a more aggressive Nosferatu, then a Scourge would be a useful position for that. Me, I'm happy to run my small investigations and help wherever I am needed, collecting the favours that I traditionally collect.
It is my intention, Mr. Voltaire, if I do retain the princedom, to re-establish the coteries of harpies and scourges. Information, as you say, should flow between the clans and directly up the food chain. We have allowed ourselves to deteriorate into fractious populace, no longer talking to each other. Elysiums need to be held, status and boons need to be exchanged.
You've forgotten the core lesson. The thing that is missing in the city. Terror. Where is the fear? Where is the fear of doing what is wrong? Where is the fear of laying a hand on a primogen of a clan, regardless of your position, and getting away with it? Where is that fear? All I can see is children running around and laughing.
John smiles a wicked grin, and for once his sort of demeanour of the sort of aged teacher disappears to show the more ruthless side of himself. I am glad we think on the same lines, Voltaire. You are correct. There has been no law, there has been no sheriff, there has been no recompense for the behaviour of the kindred.
When was the last time a prince in the city held an Elysium to punish somebody? Exactly.
So, would you perhaps, Mr. Voltaire, be interested if I do retain the princedom of gaining the title Master of Scourges?
Yes.
Then I believe we have an
As
understanding.
long as nobody knows.
Oh, please.
I want to continue going around smiling, being polite to people. And this is a whole different side to the Carl that you see. The sort of gallant kind of demeanour has dropped, and there's something much colder underneath. Because if we don't do this, then the city will become an Anarch Haven, a Sabbat freehold, or just chaos.
Just so. Mr. Voltaire, the only people who will know of this position are myself, you, and whoever you elect as your scourges.
Yes. One request I would ask is if I test someone for the position of Scourge and they fail, as long as I inform whoever is the prince, if I ever do have that position, then there is only one expectation for failure of testing for the position.
Yes, the final death. But do not mistake me, Voltaire. Plausible deniability. If the body gets washed up and you are tracked, that just shows your own incompetence.
Indeed.
Then we understand each other.
This is how incompetent I have seen the city. He pulls out a vial of blood. Can you believe that a kindred gave this to me of his own free will? And he
What?
put it back in his pocket.
What moron would give his blood away for free?
Indeed.
Please say it wasn't one of mine.
Not yet.
Not yet. That is comforting. Mr. Voltaire.
I have been testing all those I have met in this city. And for the most part, it has been wanting. I requested or suggested, because let's face it, no one tells him what to do, a friend of mine to come here. Hi, Carl.
I have met the Malkavian. He is an odd creature.
Let's just say he is the yin to my yang.
I can understand that.
It seems he kind of balances the one that was lost here. For every inhumane one of us, there should be a humane one.
So his sanctimonious philosophy isn't an act.
Absolutely real as far as I can tell.
Curious. Well, it is good to know that you are on my side, Mr. Voltaire. Do let your Primogen know I wish to have a word.
I will. I should leave you in peace to consider our words.
Excellent. And if you would pass on a message to Mr. Stitches, I do believe I still have some fittings to do.
A good suit is the mark of a good prince. And if you don't object, I will start doing some works in the background. If you don't object, I'll start doing some work in the background to plant the seeds.
Not at all. Long overdue, Mr. Voltaire. Long overdue.
And with that, Carl stands up, gives another bow, and leaves.
As soon as the door closes, John stands, calls in Geoffrey for his coat, for he has another meeting, and a small smile appears on his face. That went much better than expected. Much better indeed. And scene.